Welcome back. Part 3. We're up to part 3. We're up to TUTTARE. So I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE. I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE, activating my DNA now. I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE that dissolves the 8 great fears. So number 1, I am the piercing sound of TUTTARE that acts as the wisdom of elephants, removing all obstacles from my path. My essential nature is direct knowing, which transcends the ignorance of my suffering. Number 2, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE that floods my life with divine love. My essential nature is unconditional self-love, which transcends my attachments to suffering. Number 3, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE that stokes the fire of my transfiguration. My essential nature is self-forgiveness, which transcends the hatred that feeds my suffering. Number 4, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE that causes the lion to lay down with the lamb. My essential nature is self-knowing, which transcends the arrogance of my suffering. Number 5, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE that awakens the serpents of Kundalini to rise within me. My essential nature is self-communion, which transcends the jealousy of my suffering. Number 6, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE that is the freedom of all bondage. My essential nature is prosperity, which transcends the miserliness of my suffering. Number 7, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE that my angelic nature is singing now. My essential nature is faith, which transcends the demons of my suffering. And lastly, number 8, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE, resonating thieves and bandits into the remembrance of their divine inheritance. My essential nature is omniscient awareness, which transcends the judgments and projections of my suffering. And finally, I am the piercing sound wave of TUTTARE. I am that. So that's the 3rd syllable. So we've got 2 more, so I'll do the other 2 in the next videos. Yeah, it's incredibly powerful, as you can see from the words that are spoken. And when you speak them out loud, you are basically you're owning it. So yeah, if you do happen to get a book, if you're really interested and you do happen to get the book, it is really important to speak it out loud, because when we speak words into existence, we activate what we're saying. Words are so potent. Words are like spells. Like spelling that's where the word spellings come from. It's all, and it's where the word spells comes from. So when we activate our throat chakra and we say these words out loud, we become the embodiment of those words, and we're able to transmute and transcend anything that's in the way and that is causing us to suffer. So these words are super powerful, hence the reason why this whole mantra, Om Tare TUTTARE TURE SOHA, is incredibly powerful to help remove all blockages from your field, from your energetic field. And I promised you with this video. So when I went to Bali in September 2023, I arrived at the airport and I was a little bit disheveled because I was trying to activate my SIM card, and my SIM card, I went onto roaming with my my provider, but it just wasn't working. And the interesting thing was that when I was in Ireland with my boys the year before, or just earlier that particular year, 2023, that SIM card was fine to roam. It just clicked in straight away. But in Bali, it didn't want to click in. And so I spent 2 hours in the airport. I didn't know that you could actually do all that stuff online. I don't know if you could back then, but there's an app now that you can download that you can actually activate a new SIM. But anyway, back then, I ended up buying the plastic SIM and sticking it in my phone and getting all that up and running. So when I got out, I was a little bit disheveled and discombobulated, I guess you could say. And I was approached by a taxi driver. I thought he was a taxi driver, and he says, Miss, would you like a taxi? And I was like, oh no thanks, I needed to go to the toilet at this point. So I went to the toilet, and then I came out and he was there. And that should have set alarm bells for me. It's like, when I look back on it, I think, God, I'm raised seriously. But it didn't, because I was still a bit disheveled from the whole SIM card experience. And it is what it is. Obviously, it was all divine timing. It was meant to happen. This was just what was meant to happen. And so when I came out of the toilet, he was there, and he's like, and I said, well, how much is it? You know, let's do a barter. So we did a barter. He gave me a price. It was a pretty good price, to be honest. And I said yes. And then so we headed off. He took my bag and he wheeled it up to the car park, and we went up to the multi-level car park, and yeah, this van pulls up. And so yeah, it was another driver, like, pulls up in this van, and I was, at that point I'm thinking, okay, he's going to just chuck my bag in the back and then he's going to let me go and with this guy. But no, that wasn't the case. So he chucks my bag in the boot, and then yeah, then I jump in the car, and then he jumps in the car, and it was just such a weird feeling. I just thought, oh God, this is weird. Something's not quite right. It just didn't make sense. And I think even though I didn't consciously notice that there was no signage on the car, subconsciously I did, and I was just thinking, this is not good, this is not right. And then when we came out of the airport, there was a toll bridge, and at that point I was like, he had to stop, the driver had to stop for the toll to, you know, activate that or pay for it or whatever, or use his card. And I had that moment, like, get out of the car, Anne-Marie, get out. And I was so worried about my stupid suitcase. Like, literally, I put my suitcase first. Like, in the car, I had my hand luggage with me. I had all the most important things with me. So, you know, all my money, which was quite a lot at that point. I did exchange quite a bit at the Perth airport. And I had my passport. Like, I had everything that I needed with me in my hand luggage, in the car with me. I could have just left. But I was, like, thinking of all this stuff, clothes, and other bits and pieces, you know, in my suitcase. So I stayed in the car for that reason. Like, when I look back on it, you know, just think, God, things that you put ahead of the safety of yourself, you know. Anyway, I digress. So anyhow, I ended up in a car with these two men, no signage, no nothing, and God, it was such a horrible experience, because they weren't nice, they weren't talking, they weren't friendly. At one point, this was a 2-hour trip from the airport all the way to Uluwatu, so it was like, you know, it was a decent trip. It was 2 hours in the car with these guys, and you know, the guy that I met, he was in the passenger seat, and he had, like, you know, he was watching TikTok and all this weird stuff on TikTok. Like, he just was watching really dumb stuff, like violent, aggressive stuff, yelling, screaming. It was really yuck, actually, to be honest, like, to be in that car with those people. And yeah, but I was a little bit scared, so I, you know, wasn't gonna, you know, piss them off and say too much to them. And at one point we went a different way, so like, I had my GPS going one way, and I said to them, oh, is this a different way? And he goes, oh, we're going, I don't know what he said. He said, maybe he said a shorter cut, maybe he said, we're just going another way. And he goes, do you trust us? And it was just even the way he said, do you trust us? I just thought, no, actually. But I didn't say that. I was like, yeah, of course. And anyway, so on the way, basically the whole trip there, I could not relax. I was texting my then husband at the time, and I was saying, like, I'm really scared. And he's like, don't worry, you're protected, da 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 da. And I was like, okay. So I went along. I was actually pissed off that he said that, because I was like, oh, that doesn't help. But actually it did help. And, you know, I had this book, and I just literally placed it on my chest. And I just called in the Ascended Masters, like, all 8 key codes. So, you know, there was a lot of energy in the car, and I was doing quantum healing, and I was doing, well, if you know me, you know I'm a grid worker as well as a soul gift activator. So I was gridding in the car. I was basically spending that whole 2 hours doing quantum healing in the car. And I'll just give you an idea, like, I was doing, you know, the quantum healing that I do, if I have to do it for a reason, it's for the highest good ever. So the healing that I was doing on this guys, even though I didn't ask if it's okay to do the healing, I asked their higher selves. I mean, I was in a situation that I needed to be safe, right? So I asked their higher selves, they were fine with the healing. So I was doing some healing, and I was doing mycelium healing, which is really powerful healing on their heads. And yeah, you'll notice when you do that kind of healing, like, there's twitching. So they you know, the guy in front of me, the passenger, he was twitching quite a bit. So he needed a lot of healing on his head, and I was doing a lot in the car and then gritting, and so I spent the whole 2 hours basically doing grid work and quantum healing in the car. But I knew that I was protected. I had all these ascended masters, and at the end I was just so relieved to get there. I think I gave them a tip, and then it was so weird. It was like, yeah, I actually blew them a kiss. I don't know where that came from, but I guess at that point, as a channel, I had embodied, I feel like I was embodying Mother Mary, and so I like was blowing them a kiss at the other end. It was like weird. It was just weird. But I guess it was what they needed in that time. They needed to know that this woman, she trusted them, and she appreciated the ride. She appreciated the lift, and she tipped in accordance, you know, because she was really happy. So yeah, I guess you know, I just get guided to do weird stuff like that sometimes, and yeah, I just have to remember to have faith, surrender that the divine has my back. As a quantum healer, grid worker, I do sometimes get placed in some strange situations. That one was a little bit beyond what I would normally do. It was a little bit scary, but you know, you have to have faith that your guides are always there and they're always helping you. So yeah, it was interesting. But again, the lesson there being is that when you ask for help, it's always there. So yeah, I just encourage you, whenever you're stuck, whenever you're feeling in a space of where you're unsafe, or you feel like there's an energy that's imposing on your being, just call in. Even if it's Archangel Michael, if you like to work with archangels as opposed to ascended masters, call in Archangel Michael. He's a beautiful energy that you can call in, and he is super protective. So in the next video I will share a quantum healing hack that I use as well to protect myself and place a shield around myself, but I'll do that in the next video to keep our videos short and sweet. Alrighty, see you in the next one.